T News Radio.
KCAA Radio, Loma Linda, where no listener is ever left behind.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM, the station that leave no listener behind. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan. And we have
Christian T. Shaughnessy.
There we go.
Hey, he threw his middle name in there. He threw a T in there.
Exactly, that initial.
Yeah, so actually, Chris has been on our show before.
Yeah.
And, man, how long ago was that?
I don't remember.
Was it this year or was it last year?
It was, I
was
believe
this
it was
year.
last year.
Oh,
Wait,
it was last year.
Really?
No, it was last year, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, because
Actually,
honestly,
I think probably exactly a year ago.
really, you know, these years go by so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and we have amazing guests that come week after week after week.
Yep.
And Chris, having you come back on means you are an amazing guest, so I'm glad you're back here. He was supposed to come on a couple weeks ago, but we had to do some rescheduling. And we actually haven't been here in a couple weeks,
Yeah, it's been a couple
thanks
weeks,
to the
yeah.
holidays. And I hope everyone is actually having a great Sunday and having an amazing holiday time. We had Thanksgiving. We have Christmas coming up. I mean, this is a lot of fun going around here. And Chris, I understand you've been busy, right? Not just in your personal life, but out there in the public, right?
Yes, sir.
Just give us a little background about what you do.
Absolutely. So at the current moment, I'm running for San Bernardino City Council Ward 3. I'm very proud to be back in the game. Last time many of our wonderful listeners heard me on this show, I was actually running for Board of Trustees, Community College Board. But even though we didn't quite make it in the last race, we did very good. We got around 11,000 votes, won the
good.
entire city of Loma Linda, did great in the unincorporated areas. And then where I'm running for City Council right now is actually the San Bernardino section of the race that we did so well in the last time around.
Okay.
And,
Okay, there you go.
it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Yes. And so what makes you want to pursue all this? What's going on? How did
Well-
this all start?
Absolutely. So, I mean, the thing that makes me understand the necessity to run for city, the run for public office now, is that back in 2019, I lost a friend to gun violence. He was a friend from high school. It was just the shooting took place just a couple blocks away from the house I grew up in San Bernardino, and so life became very real for me. The importance of changing young people's lives around and ensure they don't enter that kind of life, so that they don't think that joining a gang is the only way they can actually, get manhood, and the only way they can actually get part of something bigger in life. And so, I mean, that's why I'm a very strong believer in youth mentoring, funding that and getting our brothers, sisters jobs or working families jobs so that we can actually take care of our kids, spend time with them, affordable housing so we can actually spend time in the communities we grew up in
yeah.
so we don't have to move anywhere else just because it's cheaper. And it's also the reason I believe in, just a clean government system so that we can actually spend the taxpayers' money effectively so it can go very well to these other things that are important investments.
Yeah. And honestly, a lot of reasons why younger people join gangs is because they feel like they're a part of something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's realistically, that's one of the big reasons why gangs are created, is to be a part of something. And that's just the human mind. That's just how humans work. No one wants to be alone and no one wants to do things alone.
Exactly.
And so they make these organizations, and, the Hells Angels, like, they started off veterans.
That's a
They
good
come out of the
example,
military and they're brothers.
Yeah.
And then they come out and they're like, well, what do we have? Well, we have ourselves, and then background check and all that stuff. And it kind of just grew. And everyone wants to be a part of something,
Yeah.
And when you're a younger person without, a mother, without a father, or you're just being completely ignored in life, even if you have parents, like some parents are not good parents,
Yeah,
and where
unfortunately.
can they turn to?
Unfortunately.
They're going to turn to their friends, and their friends are going to turn to people, and they're going to start being rebellious because of the thrill of life, because sometimes life can seem very bland, very just dark, and one way to get away from that is to, make life exciting. And it's not a good thing to be in a gang, but it is a good thing to be in a group or an organization.
Exactly.
And that's what you're doing now. You're in this council you're in a group, you're in an organization, but you're doing it for the better, And the best thing about it is you're not doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you were doing it for yourself, then you probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So guys, this is Chris. He's running for city council. He's been doing it for how long?
I'm actually running for city council against the incumbent, but I'm not in it right now, to clarify.
Gotcha. Thanks for the clarification. Anyway, so if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, you guys feel free to call in. The number is 888-909-1050. That's 888-909-1050. Kyle, before we continue, why don't you give us our shout out to our sponsor?
My pleasure. SNJRadio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music.
There you go. So, Chris, if I may ask, this is the most basic question. I love asking people this because it gets them thinking, right? Because they can start something, but if they don't know this question, if they don't know the answer to this question, then they don't really have a path. What is your mission statement?
My mission statement is to go and empower the people of San Bernardino to ensure that we have a government that works for us and not just a handful of special interests. And that's something I put my money where my mouth is on, because I don't take any corporate PAC money. I don't take any developer money. We live off of our small donations from ordinary working families and from our small businesses. And that's where the power should, lie in this society, from working people, from people who don't necessarily have those political connections with people on the council already, or from people in greater government. Just, we should be able to have a system of government where everybody's vote is equal, and accordingly everybody's interests get treated equally, instead of just having those special interests control our city, which oftentimes is the case, not just in in San Bernardino, but also in this country. So,
And how do you make that equal for all the people in every category? Is it just being with the people in those categories, or how do you work that system?
that's a very good question. So right now we have a very low turnout, a voter turnout in the city of San Bernardino. So you can do a variety of things with that. You could have ranked choice voting. You can go to have more council folks. You could actually spend more time with the community, getting their input, so you know what to do as a better council person. But in San Bernardino, in my opinion, it's something even far more basic, which is there are all these allegations of corruption. There are all of these accusations of even, frankly, pay-to-play cash bribery. And when people look at my record as opposed to the record of other folks that are unfortunately there now, they can go in and see that, you know what, even when Christian ran against somebody who had more money than him in the last campaign, he didn't do any of that stuff. He didn't take these developer donations, these industry association developer donations. He didn't do any of that. Instead, he ran a campaign with small donors and his own money, and he put in the legwork. And in San Bernardino, it's unfortunate, but that's the source of so much of our bad governance in the city. Because a lot of times you'll have these businesses, honest businesses, that want to set up shop in San Bernardino, but then they're afraid of that question, how much money are you going to give me? And a nice little cash envelope, and it's something that's too common in our city, and it's something we need to clean up. We need to clean it up as soon as possible. We need to clean it up yesterday.
What's the biggest way we can bring voters back to the booth?
To the booth, you knock on doors, you tell them the truth. For all of the lies that people tell about you, you tell the truth 2 times. That's what you have to do.
So what is the truth?
The truth is we deserve better in this life. I mean, whether it's the people who give up on living in the city because of that high cost of living I was talking about, it's something that just happened to my best friend very recently. Whether it's the people who move on out because of the violence, they have no hope for the future. Whether it's the people who refuse to have children or get jobs because they don't see any hope for the future. I mean, we deserve better.
Yeah.
We deserve better. And so I intend on continuing to speak to the voters in the same way I speak to the young people I mentor, which is we deserve so much better in this life, and that's because we're children of God. We're human beings. We have a divine spark, and that's something that should be recognized instead of just being told that we're not worth anything, because we are.
I never thought that I would have multiple conversations with different people about, saying like, oh, I don't want to have kids because the way life is, the way society's ran, like this and that. Yeah. And it's kind of heartbreaking, right? Because you don't want that. You want people to thrive and multiply and just, explore life itself, And it's kind of hard when people are resisting that, like they're the ones living the life, and they're like, no, 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 I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not gonna have kids. 'Cause I don't want my kids living like this. But realistically, it's what they're doing. You know, it's because of what you're doing. You're saying, I don't want kids in this life. You know, you can make that difference. You can make that change. Do you want kids?
I actually do want kids, yeah. But when I have those kids, I want to be able to look at them in the eye and tell them the truth that I'm putting them in a good world, or at least a world that we're moving towards getting better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either you or the next generation that can make it happen.
Exactly.
But if
Yeah,
we're not
definitely.
giving that opportunity to the next generation to make it happen,
Exactly. Yes, sir.
then the world's gonna fall apart. It's a reverse domino effect. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's sad to say, but I'm glad there's people like you out here
Yeah, definitely.
trying to make that difference. Because there's a lot of people that I know personally that have given up,
Yeah.
and it's our job to become leaders and prime examples of just keep pushing forward. You know, there's so many.
Be a leader like you, you know.
I appreciate
and you,
that.
and you.
Thank you.
And a lot of it is just internal work.
Yeah.
It really is. You
Internal
know,
work and just asking the questions that people don't want to ask either.
people don't do any reflection, self-reflection, or even, you know, gratitude.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't even know what you're grateful for, if you can't even name one thing, that's a problem. You know, and a lot of people, they don't take the time, whether it's late at night before bed or early in the morning before the sun comes up, before, you know, the world starts, you know, spinning. That's the time to really reflect on yourself and your life and just making yourself better for everyone else.
And I think now is the more important time than ever, because if you look at history repeating itself, right? Think about people in the 1960s, right? With the Cuban Missile Crisis. Why would I have a kid if the world's just gonna end? Or like World War II. Why would I have a kid when, you know, there's genocide going on the other side of the world? But they still did it anyway. So we're kind of getting back into this groove where we're coming out of a pandemic that killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And how do we move on like they did? What exactly did they do, and what questions did they ask? And a lot of the times, I think it's going to be the same questions. Whether we have better technology now than we did back then, but I think we all, you know, as a society, if we believe in ourselves and you put all faith into humanity and into God, or whatever you believe in, you know, we can triumph whatever we can, and whatever is out there. But it has to start at the individual level, right?
It does.
You know, you can't go out there and love others if you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'm here because I have a purpose. I'm here because I'm a leader. And once you tell yourself that, then you can go out there and start doing it. Because now you're putting it into existence, right?
Yeah.
You're speaking it to existence.
You know how, and this is another thing when it comes to personal development. Okay, you acknowledge, all right, I should be a leader, or I am a leader.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people looking up to you, and you cannot fail.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
people are going to look at you and they're going to be like, oh, if he can't do it,
Yeah.
I can't do it. Right? And that's the biggest thing. And what's even a bigger problem is the fact that, again, we talked about this over and over and over again, Kyle, the comfortability. You know?
Yeah, it's about-
No one wants to, you know, get their hands dirty
Yeah.
and be what they're supposed to be and do what they're supposed to do. You know? And it's kind of funny. Today when I went to church, well, it's 15 minutes past 7. But anyways, today when I went to church, the question of the day, which, you know, we talked to each other, we discussed about it, and it was like, when are the times where, not that you forget about God, but when you feel like God is not there? Okay?
Yeah.
Majority of the people there are like, oh, when times are tough, you know? That's when, like, I don't think about God, or I don't think God is real, or whatever. Me, that's the complete opposite.
No, I feel that. Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's funny because like when stuff hits the fan and life gets tough or life get hard, that's when I really believe in God.
Yeah.
And
I feel
it
that.
doesn't really make sense when like people are like trying to hear me, but when like in my own personal experience, like every hardship is just strength for me,
Yeah.
you know, and
Makes
become
you stronger.
Yes, and becoming like having that role to become a leader, I'm gonna have to do some stuff that I don't want to do. Okay, going to the gym. no one's like, well, I can't say no one, but
Very few people.
very few people are excited about to go to the gym. Most people just drag their feet. But when they're done working out, when they get out of the gym, they feel great. They loved it. They thank themselves.
Endorphins.
They're like, I'm
Yeah.
so happy I went to the gym, right? Waking
There
up in
we
the
go.
morning.
Yeah,
All right. I got
baby.
the okay, look. So I'm excited about this book, guys. So my broker, shout out to Carla Dagonia. She's amazing. She read this book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And she gave me this book. She didn't give it to me. She's like, hey, read this book, give it back. I started reading it. I was like, I'm going to have to go out and buy this book and then give her book back so I can have my own because it's such a great book. And it's the same thing with the gym. A lot of people, they're like, hey, I'm not a morning person. But a lot of people are like, I love mornings.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only time where it's quiet. You find your peace. Your phone's not ringing. People are not yelling at you. You don't have to rush or anything like that. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to having your purpose, you know, you're going to be out of that comfortable state, you know, to find, it's weird. You have to get out of your comfortability to find your peace, you know? And that's one of the toughest things in this world right now. A lot of people, they are relying on other people. So they're comfortable. They get to sit back. They get to watch. While the other people, they're out there starving, you know?
Yeah.
Like you, Chris, are out here putting in the work. You don't have to be here today. You don't have to run for councilman. You don't have to do any of that. But you are because you have a purpose and you understand that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with life is like, someone told me it's like you may not have a purpose, but you create a purpose,
Yeah.
right? You may not have a calling, but you make your calling.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Like me as a realtor doing this radio show, it wasn't like on my paper when I was born, hey, you're going to be a realtor and this and this. This is your purpose. No, I created it, you know? And everyone just sits, waits, and watches. And I told my brother, I said, there's 3 different types of people out there, right? And there's people who don't know. There's people who know and they're just watching. And there's people who know and they're actually doing something, you know? And you don't want to be, I think the worst person to be is the person who knows and that is just watching.
Yeah.
If you don't know what's going on in your life or you don't know where you're at, that's fine. You have time. You know, you can create whatever you want to create. That's what God gave us the power to do.
Yes, sir.
But if you do know what's going on in life and you're just watching it happen, that's
Yeah.
detrimental.
Yeah. And like I think it hurts more to watch that opportunity close than to not see that opportunity at all.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Very powerful, Kyle. Preach.
You know?
Yeah, say it. Say it.
And
Yeah.
so like the doors you don't see don't hurt you. But
Exactly.
the doors that close in your face
Mm.
teach you something.
Yeah. And a lot of people, and I said this over and over again as well, you know, they interviewed a bunch of people at
Nursing homes.
Yeah, nursing
hospitals,
homes.
yeah.
Yeah, and they ask them, like, what do you regret? And they always, the majority of them say, it's not the things that they've done,
Things they didn't do.
it's the things that they didn't do.
Yeah.
And we can't just,
wild.
yes, and we can't just stand here and watch and do nothing about it. You know, so Chris, kudos to you, man.
Yeah.
Thank
You're
you.
doing a lot of work, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming out
You
here.
are a man of the people.
And this is
Oh,
why
thank you.
you came on our show again. You know,
Yeah.
the first time you came on the show, we talked about how you're running it, what you're doing, what's your program. Now we're talking about, well, I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but now we're talking about like personal development and what you do and what the people should be doing.
Yeah.
So we know you go door knock. We know you make those calls. You know, we know where you stand, but what do you want the people to do? That's my question to you.
All right, thank you for that. Very good question and very good conversation we're having now. I mean, I want people to go and find that purpose in life, just like what you folks were talking about, and then to be excellent what they do. If you go take a look at the Greek philosopher Aristotle, his entire system of ethics, it's this thing called virtue ethics. You go and find the thing that you're unique at in life, your calling, right? Your end, your telos, and you go and you be excellent at it.
Yeah.
And then there are all kinds of people throughout human history that really love that system of ethics and wrote a lot about it. There's a sermon by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., where he talks about your excellence. And what he says is that if it's your lot in this life to be a street sweeper, you don't go ahead and you be ashamed to be a street sweeper. You go, you sweep those streets like you were Michelangelo making paintings. You go and you sweep those streets like you were David making statues. You do so, you find that excellence, and then you hone it. You be the best version of yourself you could possibly be. And now, that doesn't mean that you go out there and you compare yourself to other people, because, you know, that's a hedonic treadmill that can take you to bad places. It doesn't mean you seek out pleasure as the main drive of your life, but you go ahead and you seek out what you want to do, and then you go do it, and you be a beautiful human being. Doing it. We're all artists in a way.
Yes, definitely.
So from the Christian that was here a year ago and the Christian today, what changes have you made in your life?
Oh, I've definitely been humbled in many ways. I mean, I know what it's like to lose, you know, an election on top of all the other things I've lost out in life before.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like to go through the stress of a campaign. And I mean, you know, the heck with the campaign. I mean, the stress of, you know, navigating the personalities involved in this thing, and then knowing, you know, what my personality can be with other people under that stress. And with that being the case, I mean, it's, you know, it's something that forges you. I mean, the fact that I'm alive now, I'm above the ground, when there's so many other people who, you know, wish they could be, you know, alive again and doing things. It's a blessing. And it's funny that you brought up that those facts about folks in hospice homes, because I've actually heard that from multiple people now, even just lately. And it's something I often think about. I know this is a heavy topic for the radio, but I mean, I seriously, I mean, I often think about death, and I often think about, you know, what it would mean to be in that situation where I look back on the life I've lived and to think that I could have done more. And so with that being the case, I often ask myself, if I was going to die tomorrow, you know, what would I regret? What would I, you know, wish I had done? And then with that being the case, that's why I do things like, you know, be a young man and run for office, or why it is that, you know, I give that speech, or, you know, I ask that person out, or I go on that run or something. I mean, these are things that make you human.
Yeah.
And there are all kinds of forces in this world. There are all kinds of unfortunate circumstances that try to get you thinking that, you know what, it's not my lot in life to do X, Y, Z. Well, go do it anyway. Go ahead and do it anyway. I mean, it's how you be beautiful in this life.
You know, it's funny that you brought that up, because one of the best sermons I've ever heard was in Pasadena, the African Episcopal Church. I was there for a project, and the preacher asked, he said, if you died today and you were shown a book about your life, would you read it?
Yes.
Front to back.
I
or
definitely would.
or would you be ashamed and close the book?
Mm.
And so, you know, that got me thinking, like, you know, there's always more in life that you think that you could do, but sometimes you got to sit down or have other people be like, you're doing the best that you can right now. And so you definitely also need those people in your life that are like, hey, you're doing a lot. Take a seat today, or, you know, or like, you're doing everything that you can. 'Cause, like, at one point in my life, it was like, am I doing enough? Like, especially for my dad, like, you know, am I doing enough to help him? Am I doing enough for the community? Am I doing enough for that and that? And sometimes it can get overwhelming. Especially when you get so wrapped up into it, you feel like you're the only one doing it, and that's not true. But, like, you know, sometimes you got to have other people to come up to you and be like, hey, you're doing a great job. Sit down right now. Just take a rest. You know what I mean?
See, my problem with that,
Yeah.
it's a personal problem with me. If I had a multi-millionaire come up to me and he said, hey, you're doing a lot, just chill out, sit down, I would breathe, right?
Yeah.
But it's the people that see me, that they're like, oh, dude, you're doing a lot. Just relax. Like, stop and smell the roses. But it's like, that's what you've been doing. So if I do that, would I be in the position that you're in? Do I
Yeah.
want to be in that position that you're in?
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking for someone above me to tell me, hey, relax.
Yeah, exactly.
Until that day comes, dude, every single day I'm here trying to work on self-development. I'm here trying to, you know, build a legacy, because something about self-care is not being selfish.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay? There's people out here who say no to everybody. And they're like, oh, you're just being selfish. No, you're self-caring for yourself. You're not going to go out and party. You're not going to go out and drink. You're not going to go out and smoke. And if you lose your friends for that, well, then looks like they're not really your good friends.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yeah.
And it's been a struggle for me to leave my past life. Like, if I had that book, like Kyle was saying, would I read it? Yes, I would.
Yeah.
I definitely would. Are there points are there chapters in that life where I would, like, shake my head, cry, or, like, be mad at myself? Absolutely. But I started off strong. You know, God gave me an amazing family.
That's a blessing.
Bro, amazing life. And I'm starting off strong now. Now, there was like, in between a couple chapters where, like,
Yeah, there's
Exactly.
plateaus.
dude,
Some valleys.
I was walking on a tightrope type stuff, you know? It's either I'm going to make it or I'm going to mess up my life.
Yeah.
And honestly, the greatest gift that God has given me is my blood clots, bro, my medical condition. Because if that did not happen, I'd still be a wild child. I would still be doing the crazy stuff in my life that I shouldn't be doing. But because I got that, it set me on the path to where it's like, okay, you can't be doing that or else you're going to die. Now it's like, now you have a family who cares. You have people, you have the public, you have society who's watching you. So why would you mess things up? Because like what we said before, if you fail, then everyone's going to be like, well, if he can't do it, I'm not going to do it. You know, and that's the thing about being leaders. It's like, you have to accept those no's. You know, those people that are going to be disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
Of
But
course.
and it's not your job to argue with them and have them agree with you forcefully.
Right.
It's just your job to be an example. Be the example that you want to be. Be the person,
Yeah, exactly.
the greatest version of yourself. Bro, I ask myself that all the time. And do I fall back all the time? Yes, I do. But if you ask yourself, I am the greatest version of myself, and you ask yourself, would I be doing this? You know, if it's smoking. If the greatest version of myself is not smoking, why are you smoking? Because don't you want to be the greatest version of yourself?
Yeah.
Why doesn't everyone want to be the greatest version of themselves? Now, I know, you know, God created this world, but the devil runs it, and we all have vices, and it's a tough world out there.
Yeah.
But if you have faith in yourself, if you have faith in God, if you have faith in everyone around you, bro, you just keep pushing forward. I know people who complain all the time, but it's like, why are you complaining?
Yeah. I can't be around people like that.
Yeah,
hard.
All that negative energy.
and it's
Yeah.
just self-development.
Yeah.
If you just work on yourself, bro, what your frequency is what you frequently see. If you're
Yeah.
down all the time,
Yeah.
if you're mad all the time, that's all you're gonna see is the negativity in the world.
Got to develop that gratitude.
Yeah, the world's not perfect, but you can find the good things in life.
Exactly. And sometimes you got to be humble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yes,
know?
sir. Yes, sir.
So, you know, sometimes you got to take that hit
Mhm.
and go down.
And I think that's one of my biggest things is I do have to humble myself.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to get into this business, and at first I got denied for whatever I was trying to do, and I was like, okay, good, because I was getting everything that my whole life I was getting everything that I wanted, and it's like that's not real life.
Right.
Real life is supposed to give you challenges. You're
Yeah.
supposed to have people that,
Oh, yes.
you know, have animosity towards you. You know, there's
Yeah.
supposed to be things in life that not supposed to go your way, and I accept that. And that's one thing. That's one reason why I had a buddy a couple years ago. He got shot at. Okay, he was in his car.
Yeah.
Long story short, he calls me Out of everyone he knows, family, friends, he calls me. He goes, "Hey Sam, like, I need you to hang out with me. I need you to talk to me because you're always positive." I was like, "Dude, come on through," you know. And it's like I'm glad because even the worst things in life, I see the cup half full. You have to. You have to.
Of course.
You know.
To stay sane, you have to.
So when today at church, when they're like, "Oh, like when are there times where you don't believe in God?" Mine's not the times where it's bad. That's when I do see God. That's when I hear him, you know. You may not understand how God works, but if you just trust him and trust yourself, like you're gonna pull through, you're gonna make it through.
Yeah.
And that's what life is about. Is just keep pushing forward and making yourself out of it. You guys, it is 7:30. I mean, this show's going by so fast. I gotta let you guys speak, but we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break, and when we come back, we're gonna continue our conversation about self-development. We got Chris Shaughnessy here. That's how you pronounce your last name, right?
Yeah, Shaughnessy. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. I like that. And Kyle Kerrigan, and of course Sam Works. All right, guys, we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey,
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. You may remember that our magnetic field forms a protective bubble around the Earth called the magnetosphere. It keeps solar winds and cosmic rays from scouring away the atmosphere and protects spacecraft, satellites, astronauts, and air travelers. But where does the magnetic field come from? The inner core of the Earth is very, very hot, about 6,000 degrees centigrade, the same as the surface of the sun. At that temperature, you'd expect it to be a liquid or even a gas. But because the pressure at the core is so extraordinary, about 2 million times what's on the surface, the inner core stays solid. In fact, it's 85% solid iron. The outer core of the Earth is also mostly iron, but because the pressure is lower, it's liquid. As lighter elements at different temperatures gradually rise through the liquid iron, they cause convection currents to form, like cream swirling in your coffee. Meanwhile, the Earth's rotation causes spinning eddies to develop. This somewhat organized circulation of liquid metal creates electric currents, which charge the Earth's iron core, turning it into a giant electromagnet. The magnetic field in the core is thought to be more than 10 times stronger than on the surface, and strong enough to extend 400,000 miles into space, which is what allows it to protect us from the hazards of space. I'm Scott Tinker, and thanks for listening to Earth Date.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood, which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system. And it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E, B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea, and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com. Or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
Hi, I'm food critic Alan Borgen, and I'm excited to tell you about Ray's Shanghai Bistro, located next to Redlands DMV on Lagonia in Redlands. Ray's Shanghai Bistro offers the largest and most delicious array of traditional and original Chinese dishes available in the Inland Empire. Some of my favorite dishes are the house-made pot stickers, the crisp pork spare ribs with garlic, their unique spicy lamb with bamboo, the sweet and tangy deep-fried orange peel beef, and the savory basil spicy shrimp, plus lots of vegetarian dishes. Whether you dine in, pick up the food, or have them cater your next party or special occasions, you will see why Ray's, spelled R-U-I', Shanghai Bistro, is truly the best Chinese restaurant in the Inland Empire. Their website is raysshanghaibistro.net. That's raysshanghaibistro.net. R-U-I-S, shanghaibistro.net. Happy eating. You won't be disappointed.
Hey y'all, Merle here. Good news. For once my neighbors is jealous of me. You want to know why? Because my grass is growing and looking green, and I can sit on my sofa out in the front yard, and I don't even have to overwater it anymore. You know how I did it? I listened to Damn Water Boys on the Water Zone every Thursday night on KCIA. Well, I got me a smart controller, and now it waters at night, and my yard looks darn tootin'. No more sneaking around and hooking up my hose to my neighbor's spigot in the middle of the night, and his dog won't bite me anymore. And you can do it too. Listening is easier than ever. KCAA is now screaming online.
It's streaming.
What?
It's streaming, you dummy.
Well, I don't know much about streaming, but they doing it apparently at kcaaradio.com. So anywho, listen to the Water Zone and fix your yard up right here at KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in Durga, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult to stand, but hold your balance. I just say whatever, cause there is no way you're around it. 'Cause everyone falls down sometimes, but you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, feeling good.
All right, guys, we are back. I'm sorry that wasn't on cue, but it's okay. We're having some real conversations here in the studio. We got Ferran. He has the 8 o'clock show. Whoop, whoop. We got Joe with the clean shave coming in, looking hot. He's a veteran here. He's been here for a long time. Of course, we got everyone's favorite co-host, Kyle Kerrigan, and then we have Chris Shaughnessy here as well. Man, we had an amazing first half.
Yeah, it was great.
We talked a lot about self-development. I kind of went on a rant, and I hope you guys just bared with me here.
Oh, it was a beautiful rant. No, it was about the human soul and meaning. It was a good rant.
Yeah,
what are you talking
so
about?
if you guys are just tuning in, you're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
Christian T. Shaughnessy.
Yes, and Christian here is our special guest tonight. We're going to be having guests every Sunday for the rest of our lives. No, I'm just kidding. But as long as we can. So if you guys are ever interested in coming on the air, being a guest, or just wanting to, sit here and listen live, you guys definitely hit us up. KCA, whatever works. You guys can hit up our email, KCA, whatever works at Gmail. Whatever you want, we are here for you guys. This is not for us. This is for you. And so, nonetheless, let's get back into our topic. Kyle, what is the biggest thing that opened your eyes in life?
The biggest thing that opened my eyes was probably spending time in Namibia.
Oh, you went to Namibia?
Yeah, I went to Namibia 2018, all of May and first week of June I was there.
I've always wanted to go.
Really?
It's so vast, honestly. Yeah.
I never had those thoughts.
Oh, really? No, so
It's beautiful.
It was an opportunity that I leaped at, and we went over there to just to sum it all up and not take up all your time. Basically, we worked on databases for their medical record systems, because right now it's all paper based over there. You know, third world country and all that. And so we were developing a kind of like Epic, what we have over here. So like a health based database that they can input, and you know, to help diseases, cures, medical information, stuff like that. So I did that Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends, you know, we hung out, we did different things. We went to the beach, Skeleton Coast, all that. It was beautiful.
How was the water?
Water was cold.
Yeah.
Water was cold.
Yeah.
It was the Atlantic. So I've never seen the Atlantic. The first time I seen the Atlantic was in Africa. Yeah, and so you know, I grew up with the Pacific here, just an hour away. You know, and then so Atlantic, it's like I miss the Pacific.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
But no, to answer your question, you know, it was a culture shock, and it was a time thing. The biggest thing over there was being late was normal. You know, over here, you know, you got to get to A to B by this time and that time, and like, you know, no one really has time to, like, at least in the day when they're doing something, to stop, have a conversation, different things like that. And so over there, you could stop anybody, have a conversation with them, and they just go on their day. And that was the biggest culture shock for me, was getting away from schedules. You know, we knew we had to get to work around a certain time, and I had to get out of that mindset that it was 9 to 5. Like the first time I went to church over there was the second Sunday, and there's this huge fountain on the outside of the church. After church, everyone would go around the fountain. People were there till like 9 p.m.
Oh, wow.
Just talking. Just discussing, you know, everyone's week and different things, like, you know, and then little by little people would, you know, go about their day. But I would say for the most part, like 50% of the people there would stayed, like at least until like late night. Like, it opened my eyes about at least valuing relationships and time. You know, because like, we all got places to be, places to go, but you never know what you're missing out in the moment, and that's essentially what that taught me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and you know, just being thousands of miles away from your home too, you know, just being outside of your comfort zone, you're forced to make those relationships too, which I think helped. You know.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to get in your car and be like, hey, I got somewhere to go.
Yeah.
Like, where are you gonna go?
You're
You're 1,000 miles away from home, bro.
Like,
I gotta go back to my bed.
Yeah.
My mom's calling. I got.
You know, there's
All
no
that
cell
pressure.
service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. So.
I like that.
But yeah.
What about you, Mr. Shaughnessy?
I'd say one of the things was definitely my recovery process from addiction. There's a time in my life where I had used drugs to fill a void in my soul, frankly, and eventually it came to a head when I wanted to take my life. My mental health was really in a bad place, but then my best friend Frankie, you know, God bless him, he made it a point of saving my life by telling me that, you know, it was okay to go to treatment, it was okay to go ahead and, you know, go to the hospital and everything. And that's something I'll be grateful for the rest of my life, because it was from that healing process that I was really able to see the power of mentorship, the power of talking about what's going on in your life with other people, and really understanding your context in this universe, because it may very well be the case that our bodies will fail us for a variety of reasons, for medical issues, genetic predispositions, whatever. But then going on back to the conversation we had earlier, when you establish what your life's aim is, when you go and find whatever goal you've committed yourself to, it's something that, I mean, gives you a reason for living, gives you a reason to walk the earth. It's something that tethers you to the ground. And that's a very beautiful thing that, you know, life taught me and that Frankie taught me, and it's had quite the effect.
When you asked for help, when you went out and, you know, put your hand out there, How long did it take for you to realize that things were getting better?
Honestly, I mean, when I was over at Canyon Ridge, when I was over getting that treatment right then and there, because I was able to see the sheer amount of people that lived out there in the world that were doing their best to help you. Because you could be the loneliest person in the world, but I mean, honest to God, that idea you have in your head, that feeling, that perception you have that nobody out there cares about you, I mean, it's false. It's just empirically, materially false. You know, if anything, in certain places in life, you can make the joke that there are too many people that are trying to love you.
Yeah.
But, you know, in certain places. But, I mean, just the fact that there are people that you can rely on, it's a beautiful thing. And the way I look at it is there's a great link in human affairs. It's something that stretches from the past to the present and the future. I mean, if you go look at this very building we're in now, I mean, the people that made this building, and we don't know who they are, but somebody made this building. Somebody was willing to put that love, energy, and effort into the world so that we could have a building. And then you guys are making this radio show now. I mean, with all the deep conversations we've been having today, we have no idea if there's somebody listening to us right now whose life we could be changing right now, in a tiny possible way. And then long after we are gone, that effect that we're having in the world, it could lead to good consequences for them as well. We're all part of a great, chain link of a human endeavor.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's tough when, good and evil is kind of like battling towards each other. The way I think of it, it's like two waves crashing along, and we do good, and it's like that butterfly effect. It can change someone's life, and this and this and this. But then on the other side of the spectrum, people can do bad, and it changed someone's lives.
In a negative way.
In a negative way, and I just feel like, in the sense, coming from my ears, there's more negative than good right now in this world, which is honestly the turn of the tide, because when there's so much evil, eventually everything comes to an end.
Yeah.
Right? So there is good in the world, and then, evil kind of overruns things for a while, who knows, but not for eternity. And eventually good will overturn the evil, and there'll be a time and place of peace, maybe not for eternity. And it's just yin yang, back and forth. It's not a balance. One side is definitely stronger than the other.
Yeah.
And that's the thing when it comes to just keep pushing, keep moving forward, because some people are that say, "Oh, I'm walking through hell right now." Well, then walk through it. You don't have to stay there.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I think I think a lot of it's subjective too, to where you are in the world. Because the fact that we're having this show right now, there's people who are fighting for their lives in Israel, in Palestine.
Yeah.
And there's people who are trying to band together to fight against their own government in Asia. And so there's I think it's subjective. A lot of times we can sit here and watch the world burn, but are you holding a match or are you holding a hose? You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
He's holding the hose, but the water's not turned on.
He's trying though,
He's just there, just holding a hose.
Yeah,
no, I get you.
And so, I think it's important to count the blessings, but if you count the curses too, then you know what to be blessed about. And so, there's probably people in Sweden right now having a grand old time. Then you go further down south, what's going on?
And there's people that are talking about purpose. There's people in war that's their purpose.
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid of war. War is not a good thing. It's scary. I can't even fathom it. Okay, there's no measurement of my life that can be like, oh yeah, no. But there are people like, this is my purpose. When I talked to that old guy, don't want to discriminate. He's a veteran, and I asked him what was your favorite era. He said during World War II. He said because everyone had a purpose.
Yeah.
And he
I hear that a
felt,
lot.
and like not knowing that he was going to survive, but just living in the present moment, having a purpose, and that was his calling. Like, you know, that movie Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
Dude, it's such a good movie. And literally,
Excellent film, yeah.
what I liked about it the most was that, you know, his first mission was to take over Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
And that's all he had to do. And at the very end, you know, he got medically discharged because, you know, grenade blew up next to him. But they won Hacksaw Ridge. They took it over. And that was his mission. That was it. Then he can go home. It wasn't like, oh, now he has to continue fighting the next section of the war. No. That was his purpose in life. And he knew that.
Yeah.
He may not know it was like, this is my duty, but he knew that he was going to help these people. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's an amazing movie. Go watch it. It's really good.
So real quick, when I was in Namibia, I met some people who were villagers. You know, they would come to the town, get whatever they need, and then go back to their village, however many miles away. Could be up to hundreds. And you know, I get to talk to these people. You know, like, hey, you know, how's life? Great. Life is great. You know, do you know what's going on in the world? No.
Yeah.
You know, I get to fight someone tomorrow for the love of my life in my village. And if I lose, I know I'll get someone anyway, so it's fine. Cool. You know? So, do you know anything about what's going on in the world right now? No? I just know that I need to go take care of my village. So, I'm here getting some stuff. You know, it's a great, beautiful day. Gonna go get some stuff.
Happy Sunday. Yeah.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
And these guys don't have electricity. These guys don't have, you know, anything. TV, nothing. They just go out there. And, you know, they choose to do this, you know. And over time, they've been like, hey, you know, let's put some electricity lines at. No. You know, I'm completely fine where I'm at, you know. There's people that we're helping in nearby villages, you know, orphans that we're helping out and stuff like that. You know, that's my good deed. You know, there's there's whatever's going on in the world, they're happy. You know, they're content. You could tell these guys the worst news of their life. They'll think about it for a couple minutes and they'll go back to their village. Wake up tomorrow morning happy. And that was the biggest culture shock for me, was that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have to learn how to deal with their struggles in life. You know? And some of it is a big deal, like, but other things are small. You know, but there's so many small things in life that are nagging you that can really stress you out. That's why you ask him, do you know what's going on in the world? That's why he's happy, because like he doesn't know what's going on in the world. You know, if he knew what was going on in the world, he'd be freaking out. You know, and us as well. You know, and that's just another thing. Another day, another topic, right, guys? So we got about 2 more minutes here. Chris, is there anything that you want to say to the people before we head out?
This has been one of the most interesting conversations I've had in a while. This is great.
That's great. We aim to please.
Yeah. But I mean, seriously, there are a lot of young people out there, a lot of lonely people and families, or just don't have any families at all, that don't have things like this. And it's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about youth mentoring. It's why I am a youth mentor. It's why I work with young people now as the staff liaison for the County Youth Advisory Board on Homelessness, and why I work as chair of the Youth Choir Entry System. You have to help out these folks. You have to give them an outlet to speak. You have to go ahead and let them know that their life means something.
Yeah.
And so I think that, I mean, the show has been a beautiful place to go and speak on that stuff.
Yeah. Right. And as long as we just change one life, you know,
Yeah.
we don't
That's
have to
worth it.
we don't have to change everyone in the whole world.
Yeah.
But as long as we can touch one person's heart and have them change for the better,
Yeah. As long as you're moving in the right direction too.
then your job is done. You can rest. Make it easy, right, guys?
Exactly.
All right, so just stay tuned, guys. Hang on tight. You know, if you're about to exit the freeway, turn back around. We got Farana. We got Farana at 8 o'clock. So stay tuned. You guys listening to Whatever Works. I appreciate all the listeners out there and all the ones that are the family who stay listening, all our regulars. So shout out to you guys. You listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm Sam Works.
Kyle Kerrigan.
Christian Shaughnessy, stay amazing.
Stay amazing, guys. God bless. Happy Sunday.
On my Sunday best. Yeah. Hey, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult to stand, but hold your balance. I just say whatever, cause there is no way you're around it. 'Cause
Now you can listen to KCAA Radio anytime on your smartphone device. Call 720-835-3099. 720-835-3099.
Redlands Ranch Market is a unique full-service international grocery store that specializes in authentic food items from Mexico, India, and from many Mediterranean and Asian countries, including popular items from the U.S. They offer fresh baked items from their in-house bakery, house-made tortillas from their tortilleria, a delicious array of prepared Mexican foods, a terrific fresh fruit and juice bar, and a large selection of meats, seafoods, and deli sandwiches, salads, and halal meats. Their produce department is stocked full with fresh local and hard-to-find international fruits and vegetables that you cannot find anywhere else. Don't forget to stop into the massive Beer Cave and experience the largest selection of domestic, artisan, and imported beers in the IE. They